Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back here on the lovely Dirt 5 creating our own dirt track. As you can see, this is the product of our last video. You can see we got quite far last time trying to make this track. We've got the start section here, very bumpy, heading uphill to the hairpin, little kink to the left hander that kicks you down through, and then this tight right hander there. You've got to be careful with the tyres on the inside line. Then of course you head up the bumpy hill, this right hander that's going to kick you out onto this long right hander to head down there to the checkpoint. That is effectively what we managed to get done, a lot done in just under an hour last time, and we're going to continue that today, sort of finishing off this top section. Whether we'll get down here negating this jump, I don't know. I mean, the jump itself is big. It's not humongous really, but it's big, and that is going to allow us to gain some speed, create maybe an exciting corner off the exit heading down there. That will be good. That will be good here. That will certainly be good to see. You know, maybe if you could go down there and get a really, really fast corner, that's really pushing the limits. This is what we've got so far. Really liking the look of it. A few adjustments I want to make, especially over here at the start. I might make a couple of adjustments. Of course, we are using the dirt blocks only at the moment. You've got the lovely drift mounds, and then these here. Quite like these, and I think we're going to incorporate some here. That is at least the plan, or my plan at the moment. And the idea is that we're going to sort of have, maybe if we move them a bit like there. This is actually, that might be a bit too big there. So of course you've got these dirt mounds, that fits on there. Then we spin it around. The idea of this is to try and give the reward going around the outside line, but it's going to be so tough to get it sorted for that corner there. So this is why we've effectively adding this in. This should really add to it a bit. I think it might spice things up. You can take a wide line, but you've got to get it through that checkpoint there. A little bit different, but I think that might actually help it a bit. Now, let's say you take these, we can take those away, but of course, it causes a problem because you can't really take them away, because then the barrier's just floating in the air. This bit's absolutely fine, I think. Having sort of the scaffolding on the side, in my opinion, there's fine. Here is fine too. You know, you've got to have it on the side to make it look right. It's not the most beautiful of additions to it, but I really do think it's quite necessary. As you can see over here, we've got the barriers coming up. We need to get the barriers sorted for here, which could be a little bit more complicated than I thought. We have got straight into the action today, continuing with our Dirt 5 creation, of course. Last video, if you haven't seen that, would recommend it. You might want to click off the video now so it doesn't like spoil it for you guys, so you can actually see what we did last time. But of course, this sort of content, I'm not expecting anyone to watch it fully. I'm just sort of like, you can watch chunks of it. You don't have to watch all of it here. That's sort of the idea, that you can watch as much of it as you want, sort of thing. I quite like that. You know, you don't have to watch all of it. It's just that you can sort of dip in and out of different parts. We are actually going to add that in if that wants to work over here. Do you want to work? Oh yeah, we've got manual height settings on right now. No, we don't. We don't actually have manual height settings on. You can actually change the height object to make it manual, which is what would be quite helpful in the situation, but we aren't actually going to do that. That'll just do. That will do. That certainly will do. Then of course this section over here we're actually going to need said we could just turn the manual back on, but actually we want barriers around this section. If you haven't watched the last video and you just want to watch this one, absolutely fine with me. Just a quick reminder of how we are making it work here. We are using the barriers on the tracking for everything. Why barriers make it free? This is a more of a course checkpoint sort of one, compared to some of the people might be doing like different sort of like not checkpoint ones, but it's totally free. You can do what you want. This is a bit different what we're creating our own sort of dirt course that you're going to drive in the quickest time possible, with the checkpoints of course being there. This section we're going to actually use these again. Do actually quite like using these. I actually think this might work. This is also a bit of a fix for the scaffolding problem we've had quite recently. If you can get it fixed. The problem is this section here, you do have to sort of sit it behind to make it work. As you can see, that should, of course, maybe slot in a bit further to the right. It does slot in a bit further to the right. And then you can see that actually has worked fantastically well. Whether we can apply that to other situations like over here, I'm not entirely sure. But we could do that to neaten things up a bit. That's my sort of opinion on it. Whether you'd be able to sort of fly up off there, I don't think so. There is, of course, always that risk when you're doing it like this. We could just put the support barriers up the side. But I think that at this stage, I'm pretty happy with us doing it like this. I will test. I will try to absolutely yeet the car off it. You guys, you know, you gotta test everything before you go fully ahead with it. But that might actually means that for parts like this, you don't actually have to have it. But I don't really mind having it enclosed off a bit. So I do quite like that at the same time. So what I think we might actually do here is grab some of these. Duplicate these here. Get them down low here. We don't want them super high just yet. Then, of course, we're going to need a few of these, actually. These lovely big platform blocks. Slot these across. They're not floating, which is good. I think we can actually turn manual height off in a second. That's too high. That's a bit too high. You don't want it to be too high, of course. You know, you don't want it to look really not that fantastic because it's absolutely sky high. But this section really, it is kind of a pivotal one to make sure you get this right, because I mean, it's going to be a bumpy section. It's going to be quite easy to get a lot of launch into it. We don't particularly want anyone managing to... I mean, there's no real way you can actually cut the course. It's just that you can sort of use the barrier to help yourself, which is now I'm promoting using the barrier if you're not actually good at doing it, doing the game itself. But you can see the barrier down the inside line. That's not crucial like that really is that great. Then, of course, there is that option. You can do that far in. I don't particularly think we want that. I think we'll go with this. Then, of course, decorate it with what we've been using so far. Is so much decoration here, which I really like about it. We're going to jazz it all up, don't you guys worry with that one. We're not slacking on making it look good here. We're going pretty much all out at the moment. Your entry should sit here. But this is a little bit off at the moment. A little bit offset to the right. Is a bit better than offset to the left. However, it would be nice if we could get perfect, you know, and we have got that sort of there. There you go, that slots in there. You can't do a 360 on this, that's absolutely fine. We're not going to do a 360 degree curve. Instead, what I have been doing so far, if you haven't watched already, use this off at the end, because really, no one should be coming in the opposite direction. You need that to close it off. But look at that, that's the sort of tactic we're taking at this point in time. I think we'll just get rid of that and then start bringing in some more lovely blocks here, of course. This is the point in the video sort of thing where I do say, guys, if you really can, please don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out, and I can't make all this content without you guys supporting me with all of that. So it's really pivotal that if you guys can do that, please do hit it. Totally free. Doesn't cost you at all. Absolutely free. But really helps me out and enables me to make this content. And I'm pretty sure this content is fun. At least what I'm thinking. It's good. I think it's good to make, and it's also good to. It's also hopefully good for you guys to see what I'm creating. You know, something a bit different here on Dirt 5. If you guys are enjoying different stuff on the channel, a bit of a break from the career mode, which of course we are pushing on with. I'm not leaving the career mode behind, guys. I would not do that. That would be a disaster, wouldn't it? To leave the career mode behind. What we are actually going to go with, I'm going to just slot that in there. So you're only actually going to have one exit. This is a bit of an awkward corner here because we're going to have to literally close it off with a barrier at the back. I mean, it's going to be a bit hard, this section. You're going to want to know. This is going to take a bit of practice, this bit, because that's just going to be at you, basically. So what we do need is we do, of course, need some tyres there. Don't want anyone dying heading into that. Certainly don't need that. And, of course, you can just slot that across there in the corner, maybe. I think we're having some technical difficulties with that at the moment. Actually, you know what, we might just use sort of this diagonal line here. If we just slot that in there, and then if we put that diagonally, it wants to lock on with that, I have to say. But there you go, that should work. I think There you go. That's sort of just there, so you don't. You're gonna have to get quite a slow in, fast out approach here. It generally works with F1, and I think it will work here. This section, just gonna rotate that because that could cause a couple of problems there. Heading to this checkpoint here, which is of course sat exactly there and ready for you to rampage through it here. Does feel a little bit off on that left-hand side here. No, we're alright. So you're going to head down here to the checkpoint. This is the bit we didn't manage to finish last video. Look at those big barriers there. The bit we didn't manage to finish last video, so we are getting that completed now, of course. So we're going to need some more platform barriers here. Always crucial. And, of course, these are going to need to be sort of placed heading down the hill here. Don't know if we've got the opportunity to add these on here. It's not that big of a jump, is it? So you should be perfectly fine using that as your little barrier. And then if there is space, one's going to put this there. There's just enough space, sort of thing. It does seem a little bit tight. Fitting. Doesn't want to lock in exactly with it, does it? There we go. That locks in exactly. I think these do need moving along a little bit. A little bit to the left, maybe. Nope, you don't want to do that, do you? Okay, it doesn't want to move that, because this is a little bit off there, so you're going to have to be careful. You're not really close to the wall, because you could catch yourself on there, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Then you head through the checkpoint along there. That's looking pretty good. We're not going to move on to anything just yet, because I have a little bit of a plan for what... I think what we're going to do is we might start adding in a little bit of decoration here. Of course, with the motorsport parts to it, you can have some of these big TVs that can sit in certain places. I would have liked maybe one like in sort of sections like that, if you can just slot one in here, but there does actually seem to be space there to put it in. Oh, look at that. Fantastic, isn't it? Look at that. Really nice. I like that. Of course, you can just slot that into the places where you've got these lovely barriers. Of course, these corners don't seem to really work, but oh, look at that. There you go. Now we're starting to get rolling with it, aren't we? Look at this. Really liking that. Get your dirt signs in. Well, dirt TVs, basically. Which I really do like the look of. You've got them at different corners, different parts of the track. We could actually, plenty of things you can do here. We can actually make this tight corner a bit tighter, I'd say. Is it a bit cruel? Ah, gosh, this is a little bit cruel, I think. Possibly. It might not work here, because it could be a little bit too challenging adding this in like that, but, I mean, you've got to give it a go, haven't you? Why not give it a go, people? Why not give it a go? Don't know if this is sort of right in terms of how we've positioned it. I think it needs to start a bit earlier here. But this could actually cause problems on the exit. It could cause problems on the exit. I'll see what this is actually... No, I don't think it's a good idea for that corner. Personally. Not really a great corner to put it on, in my opinion. So instead, we'll just add in maybe... I don't know, some of this. Some of these lovely things, possibly. A bit of a tough one to decide what to put in at this corner here. I mean, look at that. You can have a lamppost. Don't really need any lampposts today. Hay bales aren't really the thing we're going for at the moment, so I do want sort of to put like a tyre barrier in there, but as you can see, that's a fair corner to put a tyre barrier to tighten up a bit. This one can be tightened up a bit. That one, you don't really want to tighten it up. That one could be tightened up, to be fair, actually. I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. We might try it and then see if we can tighten it up or anything like that. Afterwards, of course, plenty of the things like advertising. You can fit some rather interesting things on here. Like this. Oh, look at that. I quite like this. I do like that. Yeah, we'll add this in somewhere, I think. Just put it right there. No, but this actually looks pretty cool. This looks pretty cool here. I like this. Wait, can this actually fit in the corner? There's me intricately moving across to get it fit in. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm very happy with what I managed to accomplish there. It isn't a big thing to accomplish, is it? But... you know, we can decorate it, can't we? We can decorate the area. Add a couple of these in. Of course, at corners and stuff. Nothing quite like... Look at that. Look at the Look at the dirt sign moving like that. Plenty of other things like signs as you're heading up hills. You can industrial sort of things. Plenty of fun you can add in here. And then of course Merry Driftmas junkyard stuff. You start, you finish stuff. Look at that. Look at that. That's pretty cool, I have to say. I have to say, some really cool stuff in here. Whether we'll add this in at a later point, I don't know. But you could add it in at a later point, potentially. Like, I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, look at that. This here. Look at this. Beautiful scenes there. Imagine this. Just sort of heading up here. And you can take that. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Of course, you've got things like that. Plenty of things there. But what we are going for the moment is just sort of maybe decorating. You could add a few signs in here. Plenty of different things you can add in. You've got these boards here, which you can use. Might add in a couple of signs actually here. Sort of keep on. Don't know. There's no really need signs here. I think actually what we're going to do is we do need some tires down the inside of a corner sort of thing. I mean, it's an interesting one, like whether you need the tires at the inside, because some of the corners, as you can see, we've got the tires on there. Do you need the tires at corners? It's a tight one. Do you actually need them? Not really. To be fair, you don't really need them. I mean, if we slot that in there, then take this, go a little bit closer, get that lined up like so. That sort of works. It does feel a bit jagged there though, which could cause problems. I think what we might do is we might go for this again. Why not? It's going to be, this is sort of like the theme of my corners at the moment, but I think it's a good idea. We're tightening up the corners, spicing it up, making it a bit different, and consequently increasing the racing fun. It's just an excuse for me to throw some tight corners and stuff. Then of course the lovely Dirt5. There's a lot of these, but I mean, who doesn't want a bit of entertainment on the way around? Who does not want a bit of entertainment on the way around, eh? And you know what, since we're doing it at other corners, we're going to make a real challenge up here. You know, you've just had your mogul section, which is not too difficult. I mean, it's risk and reward at the moguls, really, in terms of the line you want to take. It is really risk and reward. But of course, you know, once you've had that, you're sort of like coming up to the hairpin. It's like, okay, this isn't bad. This is a pretty good track. I like it. It's not too difficult yet. And then there's this hellish-like idea of a corner, which is just going to haunt you, basically, when you're playing the game, because we're going to then add that in there. Look at that. Beautifully done. I don't think there's much of a stick out there. That's fine. Then, of course, your Dirt5 sign that we're all getting used to. If there's too many of these, we'll take them all off. But, there you go. Nicely going. That sits pretty well there, I think. Yep, there we go. So, as you can see, we've got this track so far. Let's go and give it a go, eh? Let's go and give it a go. You guys will have seen on the last thumbnail that I did, of course, have a really nice livery on it. Now, that wasn't in last video. But it is in today's video, I do believe. Look at that. That's what you saw in last video. We are actually going to start it out, probably, with bonnet cam, I feel, today. Here we go. We've got the risk and reward of this, but we're going to take the no risk, hopefully all reward line. Oh, absolutely yeeted me there. This is what we've found. It can be a little bit difficult here. It can be a little bit challenging. Of course, if you take the wide line, you don't have to deal with as many of these bumps here. As you can see, look how much of a faster line you can take through there, but the rest of it's very slow because of the turning. You want to take a left-hand side line through here. Now, this is probably the greatest challenge of all on this track now. If you've got to keep it tight, go for the exit. Oh, look at this. Lovely. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. This is going to be really great in some different cars. And now we can steam up the hill. Oh, baby. We are steaming up the hill here. Look at that. This is a big jump. Heading down here. And then down the hill. Of course, the checkpoint. There we go. Well, that was fun. I think it's on to the next bit, really. Really enjoyed that. Didn't identify any sort of problems. Really didn't identify any sort of problems. I did feel like this was a big jump there. Other than that, wow. My God. This is fun, man. This is so fun. Really enjoyed doing that. Really, really enjoyed it. So the next thing, actually, this is a little bit out, which is really annoying me. But we can't move it across, of course. So what we're going to have to do is potentially just deal with it. Which is quite hard to take. But you get the point. Basically, I want to slot underneath there. I don't know if we can at the moment. What we're going to have is we're going to have you going out of here. And then, of course, you're heading out of here. It's going to be like this right-hander. Don't particularly know how I'm going to do it until we sort of actually put the right-hander on. We do, of course, have the dirt banks. That's the sort of, you got smaller dirt banks. Which, oh, you got these there. Look at that. That's a bit of a corner. Having a think about it, what I think we might actually do is take these off here. Let's just pretend they're not there. You've got that support on top there. Now, we can probably, I'm just sort of thinking about how we're going to do this. Delete that. Delete that. Put that under. That's the plan. There you go. There. You've got a longer tunnel now. Longer tunnel. And that is looking pretty cool now. So, you come out your tunnel. Sort of thinking a right-hander. Why not? Why not adding a right-hander over here? You're going to have that there. Then, this is going to curl along. Yeah, I mean, it's not too difficult. A right-hander, is it? First, like, non-sort of really difficult right-hander that we're sort of adding in. Then, along here, we're nicely just slotting it up against the wall a bit. Of course, you don't want people to be trying to dive off down the left-hand side. You're actually going to get stuck if you go that way, I do believe. I don't think there's actually, like, a way out of this section without coming out of here now. There you go, look at that. And then, of course, we've got to sort of sort out how we're going to do the jump in a second. One thing we can actually do is we can use the big block over here. Look at that. And now, there is the jump. It sits absolutely there. Just sits waiting for us to try and come up with some sort of a reason why I'm going to be attempting to use it. It's going to be a difficult thing to make, I have to say, is that jump. We actually might include that there. Bit weird. But I actually think that might work. It might work. You know, you've got to give it a try here, because given stuff a try, and it certainly proved that it was worth giving it a try. I definitely do think this is a bit too single file to have the theme along there. But what we can do is we can probably just include, don't know, maybe like a tyre barrier on entry. Well, actually, we'll have maybe one on exit there. Don't know. I don't really need one. I think that's pretty nice through there. Pretty nice through there. Then, of course, we can continue along with our platform barriers. Now, I'd really recommend this, as I said last time, PlayStation Plus game at the moment for January. Not long left in January when I'm recording this. So, if you do have PlayStation Plus, you haven't got the game, you like racing, bit of rallying. I mean, rallying, I'll admit, isn't really my thing. It's not my thing, really. It's not exactly the thing I sort of like to do. But this is a really great game, I have to say. A really, really great game. You know, so I think it's definitely worth playing, giving it a go. Why not give it a go? Why not? You know, you might as well. No point never doing anything in your life, so give it a crack, you know. You never know, you might actually like it. You might actually like it, because I certainly do. It's a really good one. You've got this playground mode. If you're a creative person, perfect, this playground mode for you. If you like dreaming of creating tracks, but like, that's what I never really do. This is a great thing. This section over here, proving a little difficult to make at the moment. Not really sure how to go with it, but I think we might sort of head down right now, like here. Or at least a little bit more like there. It's always a difficult one, I feel like, when now we're at the edge of what to do. Heading down here. Because, of course, you can just, like, place your big dirt banks, your small dirt banks. I feel like we're just going to sort of come along here. We've still got manual height on, which is important that we keep that on. That doesn't want to go, does it? Is there a reason why you don't want to go? For some reason it can't go for a certain, like, close length, in a sense. It's a little bit annoying there, isn't it? But of course, we are actually... I think we'll just carry out the dirt blocks. Might as well carry the dirt blocks out of here. In terms of, like, the height-wise. Can we just get a flat mat of dirt? I don't know how we're going to get... We're going to have maybe a bit of elevation onto that. Yeah, let's have a bit of elevation onto that, basically. Heading into the corner. You know what? We don't want the corner just yet, because... Basically, what I'm doing, because I haven't explained at all what I'm doing, I'm just going to get a little bit of elevation here to be able to connect it together. Actually, no. That's not working. Change that thought. Hold that thought, you know. We'll try something a little bit different. What we're going to do is we're actually going to go and probably just put some blocks down here at this point. Let me just get the manual height off. How close can we go? You can go like this close. This is the height you can go at the moment. It's a little bit frustrating. Let's say we're to go up again. Okay. That kind of works. The idea I have in mind is possibly not going to work. We're just trying to negate this gap at the moment. I'm trying, but it's a difficult thing to do at the moment for us, really. It's a really difficult thing to do. Because it's just such a tight sort of section for us to sort out at the moment. This section is quite single file, which I like about it. A bit of a single file section before the jump. Just how we managed to engineer it, of course, heading down there. I do quite like this, of course, having that block there, and then you can just sort of get that up onto here. Let's say you have that like that, and then we just sort of place the blocks here. Put that there. That kind of works, doesn't it? I guess. Bit of a difficult one. Because you want to get that lined up there so you don't get it too much on the inside. Oh dear, the fun of it, eh? Fun of it. We're trying to just engineer the jump. Not really thinking about how good it's going to be to drive at this point. More of like a... Can it actually make it drivable? If that makes sense, you know? We're not really thinking too much about making it good to drive. Because we need to get it down there. We need to get the track down there. At the moment. Ah, righty. May have sorted the problem we had before. We get the turn here. That's the plan. We got the turn. Let's go like 2 wide. Nah, let's stupid. Let's go like 3 wide provisionally. 3 wide provisionally. This is going to be the weirdest of corners to drive around, but I mean, you need it to. It needs to be like this. There's no real choice for us at the moment to put it how we want to put it, because we just need to. Once the jump's done, we can be as creative as we want, basically. You know, we can make what we want. We've just got to sort of somehow figure out how this jump is going to work. Because at the moment, not entirely sure. There you go. Look at that. It's coming along. It's coming along here. The ramp off the exit. Don't ask why. Don't ask how. We're just doing it. Okay? Yeah, we're just doing it. Probably going to end up placing... You know, I'm tempted just to slot that in there. Like, if we're going to have this elevation here, and that's going to annoy me all day, then might as well just place it like that. Just want to get this in here. There, perfect, done. Right, you can see now, you've got this left-hander. It's a bit of a tough one to get the car around, potentially. That's why you can take a wide line. Do we want it to be this wide? No, it's a bit too wide, I think. Please agree with me that it's a bit too wide, because I just think it is. I just think it is. It's a bit wide for the track at the moment. Probably don't want it to be too wide, because that's going to create problems when actually creating the rest of it for us. So we want to make it ease and simplicity at the moment, and we don't want to stop ourselves from being able to do that, because it's not going to be an easy thing to do at the moment. This should work as it stands, which I'm pretty happy about. Here, how close can we get it up to it? We're going to turn back onto manual object height. So guys, what is your sort of favourite part? Do you guys prefer like the playground part of this, or do you sort of prefer the rally section part of the game? What's your favourite part of the game? I know it's a bit of like a probably a plain question, but I mean, I'm intrigued, you know. I really like this part of the game. I also like the other part of the game. You get some absolutely insane races and stuff when you do that. So yeah, well worth giving everything a try on this, effectively. That's sort of come along a bit off there. Not exactly what I was hoping for. Let's actually just make some changes here. We're going to sort of add in... We're going to go... Devil flat. Devil flat. Bit weird that I'm calling it devil, but I think if we go large jump, small jump, large jump, small jump, we're going to end up with something, I don't know, a little bit more drivable, but also still really interesting and fun. Because I think that this is sort of going to be able to level it out by having the little jumps in here. And then, of course, when you get to the bottom, we might have to sort of have a bit of a irregularity in the proceedings to reach the ground. Is this going to be too big for your chunky piece to reach the floor? Yes, it is going to be too big for your chunky piece to reach the floor. I mean, that's the correct piece now, so we'll just have that to finish. Look at that. Absolutely incredible here. Looks fantastic, I have to say. What we might do, I think, is just sort of fill it on the sides here, as you do. Chunky, big pieces going along. This, of course, we're going to stack it up to add in the barriers. Now we can turn back off manual object height, so that we can get the barriers sorted here on this side. And then, of course, same again on the other side. Absolutely loving the scenes here. This is going to be an incredible jump, I have to say. Really going to be a good one. And I think we could put a corner after it. I'm actually asking for carnage now, but why not, people? Why not? There's nothing like a corner straight after a huge jump that you're probably not going to get around. Whether this is going to be possible, we'll have to wait and see. Whether it's going to be possible, we'll have to wait and see, of course. But if it is possible, then, you know, anything's possible, eh? If it is possible, anything's possible. That's one thing you've got to say. Can we go up here? Yes, we can. Of course, that's a bit weird there. Getting it angled up, right? Do you not want to fit in? Nope. There. Because we haven't... Why is grid snapping's just gone off too? That's because I turned it off. That was stupid. Well, never mind. And there we go. We're sort of going to have the overlap. Probably there. That'll do. 3 along will do for the barrier wedges. Heading along there. There you go. Look at that. This is going to be incredible. We're going to test out the momentum and the track we built up there in a second. But, I mean, this is just absolutely insane, isn't it, really? Who would have thought that we could have made something as insane as this jump? Because this, I mean, this is going to be probably the most difficult part of the course, is keeping your car the right way around on this bit. Because it is like a really, really kind of horrid corner to do, I have to say. We've made something, not impossible, but something pretty difficult, pretty damn difficult to get right. It's going to be funny if some people end up absolutely yeeting themselves off it. Of course, you know, you could end up with your car over on the top of itself, so you might have to still make adjustments to it. We're just adding these bits on at the moment. We don't need the bottom level there. Don't know what's happened over here. Oh, we haven't added it on even over here. Haven't added it on. I've been slacking at this side, haven't I? Absolutely slacking at this side. In terms of that, we probably do need, yeah, we probably do still need the barrier for this section up there, up that high. But the barrier for this section shouldn't be that long. We want this barrier. That just slots on nicely there. If that will move. The frustration of this can be the barrier, because they can be really difficult to sort of get right. We are going to turn object snapping, manual object height off. You know, the manual object height, it does seem to not really work above a certain height, so you do have to bear that in mind. You might need to change the manual object height, but look at this. This is a jump and a half. I mean, that's just going to be possibly ridiculous. But let's give it a try and see if it's actually drivable, and then we'll sort out sort of the next bit. Let's give it a try in our lovely, lovely livery, so that you guys can enjoy it. Look at that. So you guys can enjoy the back of it. We go here. Oh, it's so difficult through this section. Then, of course, this here. Look at that coming up the hill. You can't get much traction to be able to get the car around. Then this right-hander. Get it carefully round. Then the throttle. You can't get on the throttle as early as you want to. But it really means you can attack this section over here. Get it right. A little bit of a lift. Then get it right through here. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is fantastic scene. Now, this is possibly the difficult right-hander here. You've got to get it right. The exit possibly one of the tightest exits off the hairpin we've got so far here. Oh, that's a difficult right-hander. This is the technical windy section here, which does actually limit the amount of jump you get over this. Oh, look at that. That's what you call mint here. That is what you call mint. Absolutely mint. Let's have a look at what that incline is. Look at that. I mean, I think we've got to give it another go. You know, we're going nicely at the moment with the track that my steering wheel has just decided that we're going to go the other way. Here we go. We go again. Nothing like attempting to... This is probably the only problem. Probably the only problem is this section. You've got to be careful through it. It gives that element of sort of be careful. You want to be gentle. Don't be on the throttle too aggressively. We might have to fix that a little bit. Then this section is really nice if you get it right. This right-hander. Okie dokie. I'm enjoying this. Here we go. Let's round out this section. I really like that jump now. Now that I've learned what it's like. And then this right-hander really smooth. This section, it's all about this right-hander here to get the exit off it. This is possibly one of the most difficult sections of the track on the exit because you've got to get the car round quickly enough. Now the tight section that you can do. It's doable, but it's difficult here. And then this lovely, absolutely lovely section. Then I have an idea. And you know, if I've got an idea, it's probably going to be outrageous. And it is quite outrageous. Don't criticize me, guys. I wouldn't try criticizing me, but you know, I was thinking, I've really been thinking about this, and I thought, why on earth should I just like make this section boring? You know, we don't want something boring here. And I thought, right, so we've got, if we put a corner here, why don't we spice it up a bit? Like, what's the point of just sitting here and going, ah, yeah, corner. It's a corner. Straight up. Like, we don't want to have to run off so you can scrub all your speed off from down there. We want some high-speed action here. We want something that is going to get your blood absolutely gushing through your veins in excitement. We're going to go for something a little bit outrageous. I will admit, it is going to be interesting to see if it's actually physically possible here. But if it's physically possible, then this could be something pretty incredible. If we can get it right. If we can get it right. That's the question. Will it work? Can we get this to work? Is that sits on there? Yes, it does sit on there. Fantastic. Of course, we are going to have to get a couple of dirt blocks here, just for a little bit of support off the sides, so that we can, of course, have barriers. Barriers are very necessary in this situation, I'm pretty sure. Whether you can, you might be able to yeet yourself with the momentum. It's all about the exit off this. You want as much speed down this hill. So it's going to actually really make it quite nail-biting when you get the exit down the hill, but then you realise that there's a hellish corner afterwards. You know, you're going to be like, oh, God, I shouldn't have got it down. It's going to spice things up, I have to say. It's going to really spice things up. Of course, the apex of the corner is going to be probably... I'm going to go with like a apex about here sort of thing. Spiced up a bit through there. Exit wise, you're going to be heading off down there. We want to just sort of test this out, of course, with the section. Probably going to have a little bit of a flat out section, a little bit of time to recuperate after that corner before we go again for something else. Let's slot that in there, slot that in there. Then you're heading down here. What we might actually do is a little bit after the exit, we'll have another corner, then a checkpoint before the next section. Of course, a big gap to the checkpoint, but that's because it's a big section that we're making, and a pretty insane one too. Of course, now the slotting chunks of the track on, as we do. This part over here, as always on the inside of most corners, definitely necessary for this corner, because it is going to be The corner where you want to take that outside line. We want people to be rushing up that banking. You know what I want. I want carnage. We know by now. I'm asking for some carnage here. We're going to try it out in a second and see if this corner's actually drivable here. But there's a TV there, boys. It's drivable now. There's a TV. You know? I am pretty happy with that section. Let's give that a try. Here we go then, your mogul section. Actually take it a little bit slower, and you can actually potentially go a little bit quicker. It's going to take a bit of practice with this track if you do attempt to drive it. Then this section, it's all about the exit onto this corner. And I say the exit, it's not a fast exit you want, it's a slow exit you want off that corner. A fast exit off this corner to get you ready for the checkpoint. Holy moly, that is a tight corner. There is me. Oh, baby. We took a bit much off it there. I might have found a little bit of a flaw in that section by the fact you can end up on top of the tyres. But, you know, the idea is it's not a bad thing if you get out by accident. If you get out of this, well done, mate. You've actually probably tried or had a funny accident. Right, this is the section that we're judging now. Done this right-hander a few times here. It's a tight one, but you can actually get it right. Then it's quick. Then this is the crucial section. And then heading over here. Oh, baby. That is action-packed. Wow. My God. That is action-packed, I have to say. Wow. That was intense heading down there. I was like, God, save me. Save me. It was a bit like that at points there. I was a bit like, oh, God, what's happening? What is happening? But that was insane. It really was insane. I'm not like saying it for effect. It was pretty insane, I have to say. Next section. A few things I want to do. We're not going for as many like big bang chunky corners here now. We're going for something a very, very different section. Yes, a little bit calmer maybe than the last section. It depends if you like chicanes. I'm giving you a bit of a hint there. It's chicanes that we're playing with here. We're going big or go home here, and I don't want to go away from this, so we're definitely going to go big with the idea of what I want to make here. Of course, we've got these lovely barriers on the outside signs. There we go. Of course, these are very useful because, well, it does help if you've got these barriers. We don't want any cars tobogganing off it too early there. I mean, this is sort of the section where maybe there's a chance that you could actually cheat, in a sense. I don't know. It depends how it turns out later on, but there might be the opportunity. That's not giving people incentive to, hopefully. Thank you. But actually, I'm going to get rid of that. Now, a couple more barriers. We place that in there. And just as you think you've done with that sort of high-speed section, you got to deal with this. It's like, here, deal with this hell. It's not hell, though. It's fun, basically. It's plenty of action, plenty of good quality corners. I mean, really, when you're thinking of making a dirt course here, what you're thinking of, like, high-speed thrillers, really, corner-wise, that's what we're trying to get. And that's what I'm trying to get, you know, just really sort of frustrating corners to drive. I'm sure everyone will hate this after they've had a go. Like, it's something that you've got to perfect, though, which I really like about it. It's got that sense, you've got to be skillful with it. You've got to be skillful with it, and that's what I like. I like being that. I like that skillfulness that you have to have for it, which I think that's really cool, in my opinion. Sure, no one's really bothered, but there we go. We're starting to just get these barriers in, heading out of this section. Of course, I've got a lot further than I was expecting to get in today's video. That might sound ridiculous, judging on how far we got last video, but I thought it would take a lot longer to engineer that huge jump. So actually, I'm pretty happy with how far we've come so far in this one. In terms of aesthetics from looking at the track from, like, not actually driving it, it's not fantastic, because we've really prioritized it looking nice when you're driving. It looks good when you're driving, and that's what I think. Tell me what you guys think, you know. Tell me that in the comment section, people. And also don't forget to like the video if you're enjoying the content. I always pest it. And also, even more important, subscribe to the channel. It's simple, it's free, it's quick. But now, we've missed one of these for a while, haven't we? We haven't had one for a little while. And finally, a checkpoint as we get closer to the wall there, which I'm a little bit conscious about by the fact that we do want to get another element of this track in before we get to the wall and have to start turning around in the other direction, because we're sort of going to go for a bit more twisty section coming up now. Gonna just add this in, as you would do, on the sides, lovely, there. If we can get the angle right, of course, you can then sort of have these sat there. If we can get the angle right, if you don't try to obstruct me, game. Don't even think about it. No, I don't want it up there. No, I surprisingly don't want it up there. We're gonna have to turn object snapping off now. I thought I turned it off. I have turned it off. Right, that's fine then. It just doesn't want to go, does it? You don't want to go, do you? I think that'll do. I think that'll do. There we go. That's better. I think. Is that sort of the same? That should do, shouldn't it? As I try to fiddle around here without it sort of going where I don't want it. Okay, I'll turn off grid snapping. Thank you. Right, we've got it a little bit too far to one side here. That will do. Cross to the edge, cross to the edge. Actually, no, it's too far that side. There you go. That shall do. That's your checkpoint heading out of that corner into this section here. We are going to give what we have done a go in a second, of course. But we do want to add in one final little bit here for today's video sort of thing, before we round it all out for today's fun, lovely action here on Dirt 5. And it is turning into quite a nice track, I think, really. Is turning into a nice track. We're heading into a section that's going to be a bit more difficult. Gotta say, it's going to be a bit more difficult. We're spicing things up here. And we're going to be using a lot of these to cause some calamity in this one, of course. We've got this section here. And we're going to use these to our advantage here. We're going to sort of start halfway along. That'll do. And then, of course, you've got the lovely sort of chicane through here. That isn't causing too much of a problem, but it is going to spice it up. And it's always creating action, isn't it? Through this section with these chicanes that we're going to be adding in. It's quite a wide section, but there's going to be some fun stuff coming afterwards. This is sort of like a tight, twisty section that I think is going to create plenty of action. That is pretty much what we've done now. Look at this. Because I'm not utilising every single chunk of the track. You know, I haven't utilised this chunk. That's generally just because I haven't utilised it. But we're utilising plenty of stuff. We've even got the underneath a chunk of track that we've done. We might even include a tunnel at the end of it. What we are going to do now is give it a try. Whether we add anything else on before the end of this one, I don't actually know at all. Holy moly here. We are getting lit all over the place. Down the left-hand side then. This lovely right-hander. It's a difficult one, I have to say, because you've got that left-hander that comes at you pretty quickly, but it means that this left-hander you can push so much off the exit because you're taking so little in. This checkpoint, quite hard to steady yourself for it. Then this right-hander. Oh, lovely. Head up the hill. Oh, baby. That is not the fastest way to get around there. You've got to be careful heading up the hill. It's very difficult actually through there. Then potentially the most difficult section there, if you don't get the exit right, but we do. Nice and crisp here. And then we can get that right along here. Really tight section. Now the fun begins for the second half of the track. Look at that. Plenty of fun. Second one of the two. Then the chicane up there. Look at that. Look at that. Let's go and just return to the editor settings. Here. What I think we will do is probably add on a corner after this. This doesn't make much of a difference, actually. It just sort of stops you from taking the perfect line. It will make a difference, however, when we add in the next corner, because you're going to struggle into it a bit, aren't you? Ready? You're going to struggle through this section, of course, without having that assistance from right where you want it, as we're just fighting a bit there. Is there enough space for this? Yes, just about enough space for the corner, which does actually help, because it would be nice if we could have the corner. Actually, what we'll include is we'll go back to our dirt. This is what we're doing the dirt, so let's throw in the dirt, you know. Not holding back on the action here, but the one problem with this for this corner is that, of course, we can't get that really what we want. So what we might do instead, I have a different plan here. We're taking a bit of it. This is going to be a less sort of dirt block centered section. We're probably just going to use a 2 behind this to slot behind that. There we go. Then use a 1 here. Perfect, like that. Then this corner over here isn't going to have much to it, really. In fact, we might use the same sort of principle as we used earlier on during that tight section, when we did, of course, use a little bit of... Was it this? No, it wasn't that big. Was it that? That? You, of course, can use this, but we don't want that much. What about a bit of that on the corner? Bit of that on the corner, people. Bit of that on the corner. Actually, you know what we can do? Is add this in. Don't ask. It's a bit weird why we put it there, but just a bit. It's a bit unusual, this section here. We'll test it out, this final bit we're doing, in a second. But of course, this is the cornery section you're heading into. Then, of course, your exit is going to be pretty pivotal out of this section. You're going to want to get a good one, because it's going to be heading into sort of a kind of fast speed, hard braking section. That's what I've really wanted to involve at some point, and I thought I might as well do it a bit further down the track, a bit more of a challenge later on, maybe when you're feeling a little bit fatigued by all of the corners and so on. I'm going to make it feel a bit more, because I'm going to add in those sort of corners. We're going to go with this here, because it just seems right, doesn't it, to go with this. Of course, you can take the inside line of that corner. We've allowed them to take the inside line of these corners for a little bit of time here. Can you take the inside line easily? No, because of this, which I really do like. That's helping us. It's taking you an awkward line through there, spicing it up a little bit. That is the last bit, I think, we're going to do for today. Yeah, that's the last bit I think we're going to do today. We're going to go and test it. Let's go and test it. A couple of tests to finish it off with some lovely music raring to go in the background here as we get ready to go out the start gate. Currently, apparently 5 checkpoints. I swear we have more than that, but apparently, oh no, I think it might be 5 actually. That might be right, or something like that. There we go, first out of 5 checkpoints crossed. As we then head around this right-hander, nicely gone through there. Then this left-hander to head down the hill through this section. Then this right-hander. This is where the fun really starts to roar. Through this section as well, holy moly. Yes, look at that. You've got to be careful through this section. It's high speed, plenty of risk, plenty of reward. And then this section, I'm sort of using my thumb around some of these corners to get the wheel round it. That's a tight corner, but I really love the essence of these tight corners here. And then here you go. Whoa, holy moly. It can be a bit of a disaster, I'm telling you. How are we the right way around? It's got challenge here. There is challenge. Plenty of it, I have to say. And then, towards the final checkpoint, the 5th that we've got at the moment. Through here, this left-hander is so fun. Man, that actually felt like a really good left-hander. I mean, I wasn't entirely sure of how that left-hander would sort of be. Wasn't entirely sure of how that would end down here, but it's actually ended really, really well. What we might end up doing is adding another tight corner after it on the exit. That'd be pretty good. Of course, last minute or two now. Actually, you know what? We're going to leave that for next video. I'm going to leave you the suspense of what we're going to do through here. We're probably going to send it around. Have a tight, twisty section. This is what we've achieved today. This is what we've achieved. Look at all that. It's fantastic stuff. Most of this was from last time. We finished the barriers over here. We've sent it under there. We've sent it all the way down this jump, round these two tight bank corners, then this tight right-hander. Absolutely lovely. We've got plenty of more stuff done here, and this is turning out like an absolute treat. And you know what? There's nothing better than finishing it with one more ride. It's irresistible. Irresistible to drive one more time around this lovely track that we're making. It's looking good, and hopefully it's going to get even better next episode. I'm really enjoying this. I hope you guys are really enjoying this series. This is possibly one of the most fun things I've done in a while, like something different instead of F1 really. Because, you've got to be, it's tight, it's twisty, this track that we've made. Really, really fun to drive. Plenty of action if you're doing this. Oh, moly, that is tight through there. But it is fun, it really launches you. We've got different sections here. This section, of course, a difficult one. Then this right-hander. Oh, the exit is so tight, but, I mean, I want to see some people who watch my videos go out there, someone really decent, and put me something really good in. That'd be fantastic. Look at this. Oh, it's absolute yeet fest down here, as you then can head along here. Absolutely lovely. In fact, at some point, we might switch the vehicle we're using. We might go away from this car, something a bit more fun. A corner there is going to be fantastic. That is pretty much it for today's video here. We have started making something pretty incredible, and I'm really enjoying this series. If you guys are enjoying this series, do tell me in the comment section below. It would be really nice if we could tell me if you guys are enjoying it, what you want to see more of. But what a video. We've got plenty more done. 5 checkpoints now, and we're down to the bottom level. We're gonna head back to the editor, take a wide look at what we've done today, because that is what we have done today. This is everything we've done today. And last video, of course, last video, top part, most of it. Today, we've done the rest of the top part and heading down to the bottom part. That is it. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And that is it for me. Have a great video. Have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time in the series as we continue down on this bottom part, heading towards the finish.